So the first question is, what are the necessary steps to create a European safe asset, and why is this so important?
Now, for me, it's a reform which would be of great importance because, in my view, it's the only way to solve the problem of the banks in several countries having a big portfolio of their domestic sovereign bonds, which creates feedback effects, and for reasons of macro-prudential supervision, that situation should be changed. The only way to allow the banks to diversify their portfolios is create a synthetic asset or an asset with seniority over national debts that would then be linked with national debts so that the demand for national debts would be kept, but at the same time for the banks they could then buy these European safe assets. And that's the way to solve that problem.
What are your proposed suggestions for improving the Stability Pact?
Well, the Stability Pact has performed a role, but it became too complex and too difficult, and is also, and it will always be difficult to enforce. Take as a good basis for a negotiation now of a change in the Stability Pact the text of a recent proposal by the French Conseil d'analyse économique, which is a proposal of introducing a simple expenditure rule linked with medium-term specific targets for debt, but the compliance would be only about the expenditure rule. And of course, the expenditure path could be and at any time corrected by the countries if they would increase taxes or revenues that would allow a higher growth of the expenditure. And expenditures like unemployment subsidies would not be counted for this expenditure rule. So this rule would be an improvement because it's less procyclical than the present framework. It's simpler to comply with, and it's less intrusive in the choices of the member countries.
What were the main flaws of the original monetary union framework that allowed a contagion of crises such as in Greece?
The following. Indeed, the initial design of monetary union was very minimalistic. It was just to have the single currency, a central bank for the single currency, and a fiscal break in the Stability Pact. And all the rest was supposed to work smoothly. Well, it didn't, because there were these three shortcomings. The first one was indeed that there was no crisis management mechanism foreseen, as if it would not happen, because the role and performance of financial markets and financial shocks was not duly considered, particularly the fragility of national debt markets. That was the first shortcoming. The second one was that no mechanism of stabilization for the area was also considered, meaning that there is need, as the theory of optimal currency areas showed, there is need for some mechanism to offset asymmetric shocks or even symmetric shocks when they are very significant. So that fiscal capacity, that centralized stabilization function is needed, and it was not there. And thirdly, also in view of the role of the financial sector and financial markets in creating instability, it was necessary for a monetary union to have macro-prudential policies and to have to have supervision at the European level. And so that was the third shortcoming.